Okay, so John, we've just finished the final training session for a couple of days. Been quite a tough one, hasn't it, to try and correct a few boys' errors from the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, what we've done, we've had a real good review of the previous performance against Scotland, identified areas that we need to tidy up really and improve upon, and I believe the players' application has been first class, and if the improvement that they've shown on the practice field is carried on to the field of play against France, I'll be very satisfied.
I was taking a look at the last few minutes, and the defensive systems were being tested to the hilt, weren't they? How did you feel they did there?
Yeah, they stood up to that very well. Yeah, I mean, we sort of overloaded the attack. We put the defence under pressure by making them defend more tackles than normal. So it was all about overloading and fatiguing and seeing if they could still make decisions under pressure. And thankfully, they've done pretty well. But obviously, that's the practice field. We've got to see if a similar thing is replicated on the playing field.
How different will France be to Scotland last week?
Well, it'll be vastly different, won't it? I mean, we're up in Cumbria at Workington. There was a howling gale, and in the second half there was driving rain. And obviously, from the forecasts that we've been led to believe will happen on Saturday in France, it's going to be about 25 degrees, it's going to be sunshine, and it'll be very firm, so it'll be vastly different. But that's what international rugby is all about. You've got to cope with these changes, you've got to cope with the different challenges of different teams, you've got to cope with the travel, and we're happy to do that, and that's our second away game of this 3-match tournament, and hopefully next year when we're doing the tournament we'll have 2 home games, and that'll make it a lot easier.
And most people would think that the Ireland beating France was a shock result. How different do you think the French will be this week? Not just conditions now, but as a team.
Well, I think their psyche will be very different now, because I would concur with that opinion that it was a shock. I've watched the game. The Irish played extremely well. They were very physical. They got amongst the French. They completed highly. They kicked really well. Bob Bezic controlled the game really well. And obviously the French came up with some unforced errors really, and they really could never get over the line with regard to getting back on parity, and they struggled at times, and I can't see them playing as badly again. I'd like to think that they would play as badly again, but I don't think they will. I think it will be a much improved French performance, and obviously at home the French team is a lot different to a French team on their travels.
4 potential new debutants in the 19-man squad, a chance for Wales to reach their 500th player. All quite exciting for some new players?
Yeah, I think it's exciting for the game in general in Wales. We're giving lots of people opportunities. Some have taken them without a shadow of a doubt, and you're thinking, well, these fellas are going to be here for the next 2-3 years up to the World Cup and beyond that. So yeah, it is pleasing, and you've got to suffer some hurt for the long-term good, and we did that last week, and we may well do it in the future. But I believe that we really are on an upward sort of line towards the World Cup in 2017, and that will be our focus, and that will be our continued work towards that.